This module is going to cover government spending. Where does the revenue come from? There are three major sources of revenue. The first one is income taxes paid by individuals. Second is payroll taxes paid jointly by workers and employers. And third, corporate income taxes paid by businesses. There are also other types of taxes such as custom duties and excise taxes that make up smaller portions of federal revenue. So what happens to the money? Once the revenues are paid to the treasurer, income taxes and corporate taxes are designated as federal funds. These federal funds are general revenues, which means that Congress and the President can decide how to spend them. The payroll taxes become trust funds, and these can be specifically used for purposes such as Social Security and Medicare. The federal government tends to spend more than it takes in from tax revenues, so in order to make up the difference, the Treasury borrows money through the issuance of bonds. Federal spending. Where does the money go? The United States Treasury divides all federal spending into three groups. The first one is mandatory spending. This is federal spending that is spent based on the existing laws rather than the budgeting process. It accounts for nearly 2/3 of the total federal budget. The second is discretionary spending. This is the portion of the budget that the President requests and Congress appropriates every year. It represents less than 1/3 of the total federal budget. And third is interest on debt. It's the interest payments the federal government makes on its accumulated debt minus the interest income received by the government for assets it owns. Mandatory spending. It's dominated by earned benefit programs such as Social Security and Medicare. The mandatory programs' pending levels are determined by eligibility rules. Therefore, the amount spent each year is determined by how many people are eligible and apply for the benefits. There are multiple discretionary spending categories. Some of these include food and agriculture, transportation, science, energy and environment issues, international affairs, housing and community, Medicare and health, education, government, and military. How does the federal government create a budget? There are 5 key steps in the federal budget process. First, the President submits a budget request to Congress. Next, the House and Senate pass budget resolutions. Third, the House and Senate appropriation subcommittees mark up the appropriation bills. Fourth, the House and Senate vote on appropriations bills and reconcile the differences. And fifth, the President signs each appropriations bill and the budget becomes law.